Hello guys, gonna be breaking down the 10-game NBA slate for Saturday, October 30th. A lot of games today, so I'm just gonna try to make this video not too long. So let's just get right into it with Orlando at Detroit. So for the Orlando side, Jeremy Grant, he's probable with Cade Cunningham likely to make his NBA debut. So the usage over there, I'm not really interested in much. Like this game, they're both pretty bad teams, but it's just kind of like, nothing really stands out because Detroit's getting healthy. Orlando, we kind of know what they got, even though they do have a lot of injuries. Like, nothing really that great. Should be kind of a low scoring game, too. So if I had to choose, sure, Bamba, I think he would be the pretty chalky guy, I'd say, out of both these teams because he's just coming off a monster game and he's a really good fantasy player, but just a center 6,500. I know he's a lot better on FanDuel where I do believe he has power forward eligibility too. So matchup is good for Bamba. So if I had to pick someone, it would be him. Now, Cade Cunningham, he is 3,600. So depending on if he's on a limit or not, he might be a very good value play, but we're gonna have to wait on that. So those are the two guys that I have interest in. Now this Knicks and Pelicans game, kind of the same thing, but I would say the Knicks, just because they do play slow, they are a good defense. Anytime they do play one of the faster paced teams and a bad defense, they're going to be in play. So looking at the Knicks, Randall, certainly he's a stud, but he is close to 10K. So it's going to be kind of tough to pay for him when you have Giannis and Sabonis at that position. Now, I think RJ Barrett's still 5,600. This guy should be like over 6K. I know he hasn't really shown that, but he is supposed to be better than what he has been. And I do think the assists can go up. He really hasn't been doing a whole lot in that department. He just contributes across the board, but like back-to-back one assist games, that shouldn't happen. He is a pretty big player, so 3 rebounds, kind of an outlier there. So if he's able to, shoot that well, have a little bit more in the peripherals, he's going to be in for a big night. And again, dual position eligibility, and then also just great matchups. So I think he's very good for tournaments. Same thing with Kemba Walker. 5,300, his minutes are a little bit more unpredictable because they do have Derrick Rose, very capable backup point guard, and Rose does sometimes close out the game. So, even with how Kemba was playing last game, he only got 29 minutes because they want to play Rose as well. So, um, it's really tough because basically they're having that 48-minute split between the two of them. They're not really playing together. Now on the Pelican side, so I'm going to talk about NAW pretty much every day. I think in this spot, because the Knicks are a good defense with Josh Hart back, that's someone that can also close ahead of NAW. So there's definitely some concerns, but if he's able to shoot well, I'm going to keep saying it. If he has a good shooting game, he's going to be able to close the game and he will put up 40, 50 TK points. So he can come anytime, in a bad matchup, he can certainly do it as well. Then Devontae Graham, he's a lot more shot dependent, but 6K, like if you're really looking for a cheap tournament, or not cheap, but just a very low tournament flyer. Toronto and Indy, so this looks like to be a pretty good game. Toronto, they are both teams are on a back-to-back actually, so don't know if they're gonna rest anyone. Both these teams are not that old, so I feel like they win. But the Raptors, they're kind of like not that great anymore, at least right now, because of Siakam being out. But VanVleet, OG, Scotty Barnes looks like to be a very good rookie. But this is a team that's supposed to go far in the playoffs as of now. So maybe they do try to take it easy or something. But VanVleet, 8,100, he's certainly in play. OG Anunoby, he should be 7K plus. He's not, and I'm gonna always have interest in him, especially against the Pacers. Very good matchup. Pacers probably gonna be without Malcolm Brogdon again, so that's gonna help VanVleet. And I would say Scotty Barnes even at 6K, he's not that cheap 3-4K value anymore. He's still worth a shot. Precious Achiuwa 5,100. He's starting. Gary Trent 4,600. More shot dependent guy, but he doesn't hurt for probably would be a high total game. Now for the Pacers side, if Brogdon's going to be out again, LeVert is out, then we're going to get TJ McConnell again as chalk. I know he didn't play really well this game, but I mean he really picked it up in the second half, and he should be a lot better. He shot really poorly. It's already, yeah, 4 out of 14. So he should do better. His assist, I mean, that's pretty low. Like with the more minutes that he's got, this all these numbers should go up. So I would say 4,900. That's just way too cheap, and he's gonna be chalk again. I would say so. You're not really gonna get low owned McConnell here, but you just take it. Now Sabonis 9,200. He wasn't that great either, but I do like him quite a bit. If Brogdon and Levert are going to be both out, just because he's going to get more assists, and then as usual he'll rebound, he'll be able to dominate the paint. He's shooting threes, so at 9,200, that's just too cheap. Like that's a price where we're getting when Brogdon is playing. So I do like Simonis. Chris Duarte 5,600. He's a little interesting because I feel like he's probably a little bit cheap with Brogdon out. Now I know people are gonna ask, Torrey Craig 3,100. He played big minutes, but he shot. I mean, he's not supposed to shoot that many shots. He's not supposed to make that many, and his rebounds are not supposed to be that high. So I don't know what went on with Torrey Craig tonight, but I certainly do not uh, recommend playing this guy like a lock and load play. It's kind of like Maxi Kleber. They're just low fantasy point per minute guys that even if they get big minutes, they could totally fail. So I would say it is a good matchup, and if there's no other good value, then I get it. But just know that you're playing pretty much a single-digit floor kind of guy here. Now with the Atlanta and Philly game, this should be a good game to watch. But in terms of fantasy, nothing really stands out. Like John Collins, he's a stud. He's too cheap, 6,600. People probably are gonna catch on now, but I mean, I've been talking about this guy all season long. If he's out of foul trouble, he's gonna get the minutes. Capella, he's on a minutes restriction of some sort. He's also not closing the games because they can just use Collins. They can go smaller with Gallinari's back now, or Cam Reddish, or someone else. So they do have a lot of options for that closing lineup. Now for the Phillies side, Embiid is questionable, but he's been playing, so I expect him to be in again. And he's gonna be totally fine because every game that he is questionable, and this is a 4:30 game, so if it locks before we have the official word, we could potentially be getting Embiid at low ownership. So that's pretty interesting. Now on to Utah. So Mike Conley hasn't ruled out due to rest, and this is a tough match against the Bulls, but there is a key standout play here, which is going to be the thumbnail guy, Joe Ingles, 4,700. Every time that Mike Conley or Donovan Mitchell, one of those guys are out, you just have a starting lineup position, but also 30 plus minutes to go around, more assists and more shots. And so Joe Ingles is the guy that will step in. Clarkson, of course, he's going to get more shots, but Ingles has that playmaking ability that is going to work really well here. He has a very good floor, and of course, he has definitely a 40 plus upside. So at 4,700, this is very just way too cheap. So I'm gonna really like Joe Ingles. He might actually be my highest on play as of right now. Obviously, Mitchell, he's fine, but this isn't that great of a matchup. So I'd much rather pay almost half of the price for Joe Ingles. Now on to the Bulls side. So Zach LaVine is going to play through that injury. It didn't look like it was really bothering him that much last game because it is his non-shooting hand. But these four guys against the Jazz, just one of the tougher defensive teams, even without Conley, you still have some very good defenders on that team. So not really going to be going to anyone, I feel like, here. Patrick Williams is out probably for the season, so that's really unfortunate. You're probably going to get, they could be like Javonte Green because that's someone that they were starting in the preseason for Patrick Williams. But yeah, again, tough matchup. So I don't think he's really that good of a value. Now Miami at Memphis. So Miami is on a back-to-back, and this is a game that they could rest someone like Kyle Lowry because he's old and still be able to win it. So that could happen, and if that does, then yeah, Butler, Bam, gonna be two very good plays. Could be core plays here against the Grizzlies. Will be a very good matchup. Tyler Hero, 6,600. He's been playing really well off the bench, and you want him off the bench. That's just where he's gonna be able to get his usage from. But yeah, I would say you're basically playing the Heat players if there's someone that's going to be ruled out. Now onto the Memphis side. So Dylan Brooks, we don't know what's going to happen with him. The Grizzlies guys, pretty much their prices have come up now, so it's kind of tough to get to anyone. But Steven Adams, 5,500. It's possible that they just go with Jaren Jackson Jr. On Bam, but Adams at 5,500. If he's able to close, which I think there's always a chance that he can here to match him with Bam, but knowing that they do have PJ Tucker at the 4, they could probably go small with like Kyle Anderson instead of Steven Adams. So it's a bit concerning because that's the guy that I would have some interest in, but the Heat, just a tough defense, very slow paced team. Now on to the Spurs and the Bucks. So for this game, this is going to be a rematch of about a week ago. Um, their prices are a lot higher now. I'm going to say it again. The Bucks are a 3-point funnel, so they're going to allow a lot of 3-point attempts. So guys like Lonnie Walker, Bryn Forbes, they're going to benefit a whole lot, but they are pretty shot dependent. But because if they're going to stay in this game, they're going to need they're going to need scoring. So if you're playing, maybe more than one buck, that you can definitely try to stack it a little bit with those guys or Keldon Johnson, Derek White, affordable. John J. Murray and Pirtle, for sure, they're in play if you're trying to get a little bit different because they're probably not going to be too high owned just because their prices are up. Now, on the Bucks side, so Drew Holiday is out, Brook Lopez, Bobby Portis as well. So you're looking at Giannis and Giannis and Chris Middleton getting all the usage here. And Giannis, 11.4K, he's a little bit expensive now, but still, this is a price that Giannis should be at. Chris Middleton, he's going to be a pivot play. Just every time that Giannis is going to be chalked, then you can go to Chris Middleton because there's still a lot of usage that is freed up with Holiday out. It's not just all going to be Giannis. So I do like Middleton. Their minutes will be staggered. So very good tournament play, both of them really, and for cash too. Now on to the OKC and Golden State game. This is another rematch. So I think SGA looks very good. Josh Giddey, excellent. Lou Dort, those three are the safest in terms of the minutes. Everyone else, it's a little bit up in the air. Like Derek Favors, he could be a value 3,300, but they basically are running a three-man center rotation. So it is very tough to figure out whether Favors is going to get the run. And plus the Warriors, they certainly do not really have an imposing big down there. So I don't think this is really the spot for Favors to go off or get a lot of minutes. Now, again, I do like Josh Giddey, probably the best because of the price. But yeah, SGA for sure, absolutely. He's going to be a very good play against the Warriors, just clearly their best player. Now, the Warriors side, Curry is at 10.9K. I favor Giannis because of him playing without Drew, and he's just going to need the better um, fantasy play. So I like Steph the most out of the Warriors guys. Damian Lee is questionable, so that could help like Otto Porter, but I would say that he's not really a great play because Iggy should be able to play in this game. And the last time he had one of his better games, it was because Iggy was also out. Now on the Denver side, so for them, Jokic looks to be totally fine, so I expect him to play again here. Jokic against Towns, very fun matchup to watch, but for fantasy purposes, I would say Jokic is going to be secondary to Giannis, but for sure, he's going to be kind of like a I don't want to say contrarian play because people will still roster him. He's just that great, but he's definitely going to be um, owned. But yeah, just a good match against the Wolves. Should be very high scoring. And his teammates, because Jokic is back now, I don't really feel like you really need to go with anyone. I think Monte Morris at 4,300 is a little bit cheap for a starting point guard. Now on the Minnesota side, so Towns at 9,900 it's going to be tough for him to defend Jokic and stay out of foul trouble. But if he is, he should be able to have a good game himself. So I think he's going to be kind of low owned. Now, D'Angelo Russell, 6,800. I think that's too cheap. I wish that he didn't have a great game last time just because then we'd have low ownership. But at 1,600, this is too cheap. Denver's defense isn't that great. They play slow, but if Russell's going to play well, he will be able to get those minutes, as we saw last game. And then everyone else, like I know some of these guys on that bench have been good. Like I know Beverly's been great, but again, they're bench players. Like even for some of the stars, like I think McDaniels has been starting, Vanderbilt too. Like they're fine, they're cheap, but again, just the usage is going to these top three guys. Now Cleveland, they're on a back-to-back. Because of that, maybe we see Kevin Love rest, and that's gonna help out obviously Markkanen, Mobley, and Allen. So they do feel a little bit cheap here, even though it is against the Suns. The Suns, they are without Cameron Payne. So for them, then again, I would like them Booker and Chris Paul, as we saw last game, what Booker did. But I would say DeAndre Ayton, 6,500 for center right now. He's going to make my core because of just the price. The Cavs haven't been that great, even though they have a bunch of big men. They've actually been pretty bad against centers. So for the core, I'm going to start out with Aiden because I'm on the page right now, but then Giannis going to be my spend up option. And then for my point guard, it's going to be Ethan McConnell because I'm probably going to be out again. And then it will be Joe Ingles and then Josh G for the small forward. So this is going to be my core right now, looking at the slate the night before. So again, I will update or try to update at least because I am focused with work for DFS Army. So I'm gonna get an article out. Again, it's free. I'll post that link in the comments below. So please do check that out. And also, if you're interested in buying a VIP or core membership to DFS Army, there is a promo code that's Will, so that's my name, WILL, and you get 10% off your purchase. So, yeah, if you're interested in joining, we've had a lot of big wins so far to begin this season. Our main guy, Keg, he actually won 100K, took down the $15 tournament just a few days ago. So, yeah, we do offer a whole lot. So, again, please take a look. And thank you guys for watching. For this video, I will post my article again, also post my on my Twitter. So yeah, just thank you guys for watching. I'll make another video again over this weekend. That's when I do have some time. So again, thank you, and I will see you in the next link. Bye.